Hi, I'm George O Callaghan, and you're watching Sports Matters TV.
Welcome to Sports Matters TV, brought to you by the Macau Sporting Club and in association with Shooter Snooker and Pool Blackpool, and filmed by Deep Red Productions. Okay, welcome to Sports Matters TV. We're in the Muskerry Arms in Blarney. I'm joined by a true legend of football when it comes to Cork City and League of Ireland and of course Cross Channel. George, it's great to have you in Cork and have you here with us today. You're looking well. You haven't aged a bit, like
No,
a young fella.
still trying to stay fit anyway.
You look fit. You've been very busy as always. We're going to talk about G10 worldwide and of course the early days as well. How did you get involved in football first day? Because you've had a fabulous career.
Well, I always came from a hurling background.
Yeah.
But when I was about 11, Paddy Cassan actually played for Cork Gaelic footballers.
Yeah.
He was playing for Rockmouth and goal. So I was good friends with Paddy, and I went up on a Saturday, and Rockmouth were short a couple of players, and I just joined in. So then the kind of soccer just started taking over then, and it was kind of in between hurling and soccer then.
And everyone, I know a lot of people that would know you from the early days. They all said you're an absolute natural from the early days as well. Like, so it just anyone in the family that were good at football, or was it just naturally picked up yourself? Or
all my family are runners.
Yeah.
And my brother's like a hurler, but I kind of just more or less picked the soccer up myself. So I was just playing out in the schoolyard and just playing with Rockmouth. Started off Rockmouth, then went to Leeds, and things just developed. Then just practicing on my own at home. So
how did you find that move to England first day when you moved to Port Vale? Because great club, great history, and you've done well there. So what was it like to make? Were you homesick first of all?
It was very tough, because I went with basically just 15 gone 16 border.
Yeah.
So and it was completely different those days because we were just all thrown into digs.
Yeah.
And you kind of just had to fend for yourself. But it was a big learning curve. The first year or two were difficult for me because I was small and skinny with all the English lads. So
yeah.
they'd be all taking the piss out of me in the changing room.
Yeah.
But when I got to my third year YTS, I just kind of developed physically a bit, and then I got stronger, and then I just got kind of caught up to the Irish team, and then all of a sudden everyone was going for me. I got a chance to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
I got a new first team contract. So
yeah.
I love Port Vale. It was a fantastic experience. Just a pity I had John Rudge always looked after me.
I understand. Yeah.
And then Brian Horton came in. He didn't really take a shine to me, and then I was back in these teams, and I was out, and then it just all went pear-shaped in the end. So back home to City. It
was a good team for us City fans, but there was also other clubs interested in you, Georgie. Like Port Vale, obviously big club. Did you find we have all these offers on the table and stuff, and the scouts are watching, and I remember Phyllis telling me there was a lot of big clubs at the time. Not that Port Vale weren't big, but did you felt it was the right club at the time?
Well, with me looking back, see, I kind of went on my own. My mum and dad were afraid to fly over.
Yeah.
So I was always there on my own. So I never really had kind of guidance. So I had Mel Steen as my agent because Gazza was my favourite player at the time.
Happy days.
But Mel had no interest in me, So
yeah.
I know Arsenal came in, and then Tottenham came in for me.
Yeah.
And instead of going to Tottenham, I signed a 2-year contract with Port Vale because I still had that kind of I'm from the country, and we had a loyalty. This is my club team, and I stay with them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something now that I kind of bring into my company with the younger players, is giving them the right advice to them and their parents, and trying to look after them. So it's something very close to my heart with the players, and trying to look after them that way.
Definitely. You went back to City, to the delight of me and all the City fans. We still call you the king. In my opinion, the greatest ever Cork City team. I know City won a double last season, but everyone will say the City team that you were part of, that built, was the greatest City team of all time. What was it like to play with that team and do so well and play with so many great players like Flinney, Kevin Doyle?
The thing with that team, it was kind of like a 3-year plan to win the league, and it kind of worked out perfect. I came in with Liam Murphy was there, and then Pat came in and changed everything. We went really, the professionalism really kicked in.
Yeah.
And if we just got better and better, I think we all got a bit more streetwise on the pitch. Neil Fenn came in, that really helped things. Then I went back into midfield.
Yeah.
And we just fell upon some really good players. I think even at the end, Dennis Bean was on the subs bench and he was going to England. That's the effect.
Yeah.
So, but I loved every minute of it. It was an unbelievable adventure, and when I look back at my career, it's probably the best time in my career because we were really a bunch of lads, and we were really close as well. We were all together, and majority of us were Cork lads as well, which was great.
It's always great.
But it was brilliant. It was brilliant times, and you look back now, and the night we won the league, and the last night of the shed and all that, was a fantastic experience.
I'm still celebrating that league win. I can always remember being in the shed, and I think a lot of you came up to the shed, but like just what a night in general. Like it's something that will always be remembered out in the cross.
There's a good story in that, you know, because we won the league and everyone came on the pitch, and I went into the changing room. Yeah. And I was in the changing room when they lifted the trophy, and I was like, they never lifted a trophy without me. And I came out like and kind of got in for the last couple of pitches, and I said to Dan Murray, I said, Dan, I've been going to the shed since I was a kid. So I goes, can I bring the trophy down to the shed? I goes, I've 2 things to do. I promised Lennox I win him a league and bring him the cup up to him. So I goes, let me go to the shed first. So that's how we went to the shed, because I was like, can I go to the shed with the trophy?
There you go. That's an official. That was because I'll never forget that night. For you, like what players stood out for you at Cork City? Obviously, you know Kevin Doyle, Flinney was unreal. Obviously, unfortunate with injuries and stuff, but what a team! What a spirit there. Yeah,
like as I said, like we were really lucky because Flinney came back, Dan Murray came to Cork. We even turned down Murphy for the Irish team because we said Flinney started playing up front. So we ended up having a good partnership, and then when Neil Fenn came in, I think he was kind of like the piece of jigsaw, because then I was able to go back into midfield and you could play off him, and he started off everything. Yeah. And then we had Carney came back, Joey Gamble,
Connemara Maradona.
Yeah, the Connemara Maradona, and Gamble came back. Danny Murphy came in. You know what I mean? So we had, you know, kind of all new lads that we fell upon really easily. Yeah. But it just luck that they all happened at the same period. You know.
Definitely. Now we know what happened with City. Obviously, the club got into a bit of trouble. And you got the opportunity. I know there was more offers for you back in England, but you made a great move to Ipswich. Great club, great history. What was it like to get to Ipswich and obviously, you know, play there?
The thing was, I think I kind of came to a stage where I kind of felt I had unfinished business in England. Yeah. So then my whole time in Cork City was in my head. I have to go back to England. I have to prove myself, which kind of spoilt it a little bit, because I think the whole lot of us after Doyle went kind of got a bit kind of thinking, I should be doing what Doyler's doing in the Championship or in the Premier League. Yeah. So then I was actually supposed to go to Celtic, and Gordon Strachan got the manager's job, and he signed Virgo from Brighton, and he signed a left back from Burnley, and their first 2 games they were completely useless, and they drew 4 each against Motherwell. And the scout rang me and said, listen Georgie, we can't sign you because his signings have been so bad, we can't sign a League of Ireland player. So in the meantime then I was actually falling out with Rico, and I ended up going to Ipswich. I got a call to go to Ipswich, and I went to Ipswich, which was great, you know, because I went there in August, but Rico wouldn't let me sign on the transfer deadline day, so he rang me the day after, said you can go over what now, and then I had 4 months that I had to wait, so then I had to wait till January. In the meantime then I got meningitis, so it was a battle at Ipswich, but it's a fantastic club. Out of all my clubs, it's my favourite club, you know, because as soon as I walked in the door I just loved the place.
There were some great players, and obviously today we have a good link up at Ipswich as well. But you went on loan into Brighton, another big club, and of course you played in England, you were Yeovil and stuff. Obviously a man in demand, Georgie. Like there was a lot of clubs that wanted you. We always read stuff back home when you were in England that all the big boys wanted you. So you had your choice of clubs. What was it like playing with Brighton and Yeovil, and obviously
Brighton? I loved Brighton. Brighton was a fantastic club because they were kind of in the stage where they were moving to the new stadium. Yeah. But I think actually I played my best football at Brighton. But when it got to Christmas time, there's a lot of younger lads like Tommy Elphick and Tommy Fraser and Dean Hammond, the lads that all went on to play in the Premier League, that they weren't sorting out their contracts. So one day I said to him in an interview, stupidly, I backed up the lads and said, well, I wouldn't be worried about me, it's the younger lads, and Dick Knight took offence to that. Yeah. So then all the hassle came down on top of me again, and Dick Knight then kind of just sabotaged everything for me. Yeah. So then I kind of went back to Ipswich. And then my heart would kind of gone out of it a little bit because it was just getting so frustrating. And then I ended up, I kind of made a decision I shouldn't have really, but I went back to City then again the next time, because I just I'll just forget, I'll just go back to Cork because it's my home and like that's where everybody loves me anyway.
There's a lot of politics in football, as you know, as well though. But we were delighted to have you back in Cork again. And obviously a couple more seasons kind of just playing around the place. What was it like, you know, like when you got back to Cork? The same buzz wasn't there, Georgie, was it? Because obviously a lot of players went away. Did you find it was different?
It was much different because I think when we started out, when I went back at the start, we were all on very little money, and we were just a bunch of lads that hung out. We all went out the weekends together. We were all in trains in the morning, and then we stuck together. But when I went back the next time, the crowd from London Rat to come in taking over. Lennox was gone, which was a big thing for me there as well, because Lennox was fantastic to me. Yeah. And it was kind of like England, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? Because we weren't really getting the crowds. Yeah. There was loads of pressure on us because we were all on a lot of money. Yeah. but I didn't enjoy it, and it kind of came to a stage where I kind of worked so hard to get to Ipswich and get back in the championship, to come back, and then I was back playing up in UCD against 100 people. So my heart was starting to go out of it then, and I think at about 28, 29, I kind of knew my own head. I was like, I have enough, and I don't really want to play anymore. So
it's tough. Like I always remember you out in the cross, and in general, I actually seen you play with Ipswich as well. Fantastic player. Frightening, to be honest. Like if I was the defender, I wouldn't fancy marking it, to be honest. But tell us about your style and stuff. Like you always kind of went at it. You weren't afraid to go up the flank, cut in the middle, and like many a goal you scored, just beautiful. Like I just won't forget them. Like
I don't know. I think I kind of played better in the big occasions. It just suited me better, you know.
Yeah.
But I think as a player, I just had no fear really, which I kind of haven't had in life. You know what I mean? I think I always take risks, and that's the way I just played on the football pitch. You know, I kind of came out on the pitch, and I think some lads would try things in training that they never try in a game, but I just think, well, let's go for it. Like, and if it comes off, comes off. It doesn't, it doesn't.
Why not? And I know you were a good hurler as well. When you came back from Cork, you actually played with Cork. Did you tug out for Cork for a game or two? I remember the programme I have at home. But
yeah, I did. I played for. I came back and I just played with the Glen for a month to get fit, and I started off to play a match with the junior team. Did well, then I got on the intermediate team, and then I got called up for the senior team, and then I got 1-4 in the championship match, and I got called up to the Cork team in the space of 4 weeks. But there was murder in the Glen, like going on, this fella's been away for 7 years. So I remember we played Ballyhay in the championship, and the corner back was flaking me. And I said, kid, I haven't played hurling for 7 years, and I'm destroying you, so I won't worry about it. Like. But that was brilliant, because at that time I was 50-50, because I was going to maybe go back into the hurling. But my brother John just said, listen, you're a soccer player, just keep playing soccer, you know.
Keep it.
So and I'm glad I did, but I still love the hurling. It's been amazing this year as well, watching them as well.
They're flying. Hopefully we can take the All-Ireland back this year.
But the games this year and the championship have been great.
And the round robin's good as well. There's extra games, which is great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, because it's a bit like soccer now. You can't have two bad weeks anymore, because you're gone. You know, and that's the way it is in football. You have 2 or 3 bad weeks, and like you're either sacked or you're dropped, and you don't get back in the team. So I think the players are starting to experience now. They don't have 4 weeks to get ready again.
They do not. I tell you, I love it. Absolutely love it. Now we have to talk about managerial career, right? You were out in Malaysia.
Yeah. An
absolute legend, I must say, right? How did you find that experience, first of all? It was good not to see you get a longer run, obviously politics and all that. You made a big signing, once upon a time it would have been Juff, first of all. You got that man out there, but what was it like, first of all? How did it all come about? And
well, I kind of had my agency out there, so I was after bringing out a good few Irish lads. Like I brought Roy out, Joe Gamble out, and then I had a few Croatians, Brazilians, and then I kind of basically brought in the players for the Crown Prince in Brunei, where Joey and Roy was. So Saab was only half an hour away. They kind of got whiffed of it, and I kind of knew somebody there, and I said, listen, will you go in and do the job? So I kind of thought, well, I'm kind of here, I might as well get paid instead of paying for hotels. I might as well manage the team. But my most frustrating thing about it is that, like, there were so many misreports about it. You know, I think just lazy journalism, especially in Ireland. Like, people just wanted to cane me as if I just went away and never went back. But when you're in Sabah, you have 13 bosses who are all like Dacos, who are SORs, and then I had the chief minister to deal with. And on top of that, a lot of things happen in Sabah that you could never talk about. So I kind of spent my time trying to protect the import players, which they didn't think they were, because all of a sudden they were going for dinner with the Dacos and the chief minister. And then basically we started doing so well. The lads wanted to pick the team, but I'm agreeing with the lads. I goes, I'm not letting you pick the team when I'm here, because I know the way Asia runs, and when you get success, they all wanted a part of it. So we went one day and they wanted to pick the team, and I said, fine, I'm gone. So I just got in a flight and flew home. I didn't go missing for a week in training, because I think my Wikipedia page gets filled in within 15 seconds if anything happens in my life. But like myself and Frazul played 100 games for the Singapore national team. He's the best profession ever going. Frazul knew what was happening. I knew what was happening. So basically, I was out there with my family, and I just said, well, it's getting too dodgy now, it's time to go. Like, so I just got in a flight and flew home and just let it go.
The politics out there are supposed to be unreal. I've heard that, you know.
You know, Sabah have a really dodgy history, and after I left, an experienced manager came in that was after winning the league, actually, with Leigh Miller. The year before. He lasted 4 months. They brought in another international manager. He lasted a week, and then they brought another manager that lasted about 2.5 months. So it kind of goes to show what happens there. But like they said, I was there for 3 months. I was there for at least 7, because I had to find all the imports, did all the transfers, brought in Juff, who was a pain in the arse. I had Zaid came in, and
Zaid that played a Bray,
Zaid come in, like so.
Okay.
But you know what? It was difficult, because I was general manager and team manager, which is tough going, and I was only 35.
Yeah.
So if I went back again, I'd play completely different, you know. But I used to always shoot from the hip, which I'm starting to learn as I get older, just to mellow a little bit.
George, I wouldn't change you for the world. Like, don't ever change. You're a legend where you are.
So yeah, you know, I could have probably played it better myself. Do you know what I mean? But like I've always been straight with people, and it's always gotten me in trouble. But like what I said back when I was 23, I still stand by, and I don't contradict myself in anything. If I believe in something, I just say it. Like,
yeah,
so,
no, you have to. Yeah, that's the only way to be. And like, do you reckon you'll ever get back into the managerial side of things? Because I think there's definitely a man that knows the game well, and a man that could definitely manage a great team. Do you reckon there's something you could look at down the road? Because we know you have the academy. Like, there's so many great projects on the table for you right now, with G10 worldwide and linking up with Ipswich and stuff. But you reckon it's something you could definitely get back into?
Yeah, I think so. Further down the line, you know.
Yeah.
I think I took 2 years out because I wanted to go learn business. So I went to work for William Hill, and that was great. I got to work with Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal every week. So what I do now is I just try to build up my experience, because I think if you go into management, like you get as young as I did, you're not ready for it, you know, because you need to experience stuff. And like when you see like the lads like Pep Guardiola when they were 38 winning Barcelona, that's just amazing. You know, just have that temperament, which I didn't have.
Yeah.
So I have to, you know, I think I just have to go back to scratch, get back enjoying it, enjoying the coaching, and just keep learning, and you never know what happens down the line, you know, whether it happens or not. I don't know. It won't bother me if it happens, and if it does, it'd be great.
Definitely. Well, I hope it happens. I hope we see a City in the near future. Like JSC might get an offer there to go to England at some stage, you know. So we hope you step in as assistant, maybe manager. Would be great. We have to talk about the projects, Georgie. Like the summer camp. Like this summer is going to be huge for you. First of all, with the link up with Ipswich and G10 Worldwide. Tell us all about that and how it came about.
Well, Alan Lee, who I used to live with, he used to play for Ipswich, played for Ireland, and Huddersfield and Crystal Palace. Alan's come into the academy. He's kind of one of the directors in the academy. So Alan kind of spoke that they want to kind of build up the relationship with Ireland again, because it's kind of like dwindled over the last few years.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Alan that I was setting up my own academy, and Ipswich kind of jumped on board and said, listen, if you can find us the best players in Ireland, then we like to look at them. Yeah. So we kind of done a partnership now where I do my academies, the players come in. If I think they're good enough to go to England, in the midterms I'll have my own G10 team that will go over and play against Arsenal and Tottenham, Norwich and Ipswich. So the lads from Ireland get a chance to go over and experience what it's like. So it's not me trying to find kids and send them to England. That's the last thing I'm going to do, because Cork City are also, I ought to be concerned about Cork City, because they want the best players as well.
Yeah.
But what I think is giving the kids a chance to go, and they watch the English football every week. So if they get a chance to go over and play against Arsenal, Tottenham, Norwich, against Ipswich, it just gives them the experience of what it's like, you know. And they can always say they had it, do you know what I mean? So I think now it's very hard to get over, because they're just looking at the elite players.
Yeah.
But what my academy does is give you that chance to go. And you never know, because players develop in different times, you know. Like a 14-year-old's completely different when he's 16 or 18. You can see with Jamie Vardy when he's 21, he's making it. So it's a chance for players to come in, be professional. My camps are completely different to the FEI camps and other soccer camps, because we do video analysis, do nutrition. We've all that, we kind of know all the expertise in each one. Yeah. So whether a fellow wants to go play for their local team and get better, going to play for Cork City, or they want to play for Ireland or play in England or whatever, we're just there to help them and show them the ropes. And I've a lot of experienced staff come in, boys come in from England. So it's a great project, you know what I mean? And we've had fantastic feedback from parents and from kids. I've got 3 or 4 lads going at the end of July now that go play against West Ham, go for 4 days, which is great for them and their parents to have it. You know, it's like a summer holiday, and I just have them treated like a summer holiday, and you're getting to play against West Ham. There's no pressure.
That's huge. Yeah. Like that's stuff dreams are made of, really.
Yeah.
Like even the whole nutrition thing is great, because like, you know, when we're all a bit younger, like, you know, I remember playing with clubs like Temple and New Farm and stuff, like, and you never go through like, it's always just we go and have a kick around, you know what you have to do, you do your training sessions, but the whole nutrition part's essential, because obviously lads moving to England or playing like professional football, they change diets, it's all different. So it's great to have, like, even the video stuff is unreal. That's so different. Yeah, because I think you know, when you have the video analysis, the players know where they're going wrong, because you can explain all you like, but as soon as they see it on the screen, it gives them a bigger idea, you know, a bigger picture. And like as you say with the nutrition, the lads in England are just getting bigger and stronger, you know. Yeah. I know near the end of my career, I was at Brentford for like a little while, but I could see the difference even then after I came back from Asia. You know, the lads were getting stronger, like they're running quicker. So no, you have to be able to do it now if you want to be a professional footballer or semi-professional or anything. Even like when you look at the once you see our league lads, that they're coming in condition now, you know. Yeah. So I know it's the way football's going and sport in general. Yeah.
But it's just great to be able to help the kids and give them a chance, you know, and just show them the right way, because I wish I had that opportunity when I was younger. Just, you know, somebody to stand over and go, I know this is the way to do it, you know.
Definitely. No, I know there was a rumour a couple of weeks back that you were going to play again. Rockmount apparently came out and said, look, you're going to join and play. Is any truth to that?
No, I called into Rockmount because I don't live too far from there, and I just wanted to see. I always heard about Billy Cronin, so I wanted to see what it was all about. So I went in, but there's no way I'll go back playing now anymore. I'm too busy anyway, but I just don't have the heart in me at all. I love the coaching, I love the business side of it, but on the footballing side, like I do play the odd games and all, I'm getting this grief, and I just think, why am I doing this to myself? You know what I mean? I'm like the old box in the ring, so I'm just going to let it go now.
You look good though, like you look like it. Like I'm telling you, you still look like you're mid-20s. Like, so whatever you're doing, stick with it. Like you're obviously active. I have to ask you 2 more questions. Like like fans always love it. Now I never say pick one, but if you could pick maybe 2 or 3 players, the best you play with, in England or in Ireland in general, could you pick 3? It's always hard to pick the one, obviously.
I think I played with Robbie Keane a couple of times in Ireland. He was amazing, you know. And I think he doesn't get the credibility in Ireland, you know. I think it's always like, oh, Robbie Keane. But Robbie Keane was brilliant. I had a little bit of time with Mark Noble at West Ham, you know, and just to see how much he loved football. He was at Ipswich on loan, just see what he was like. Probably third one would be Steve Guppy, the left winger.
Solid.
I used to go out every afternoon with Gups practicing crossing. I used to stand and get the balls and kick it back out to him.
He was a tough cookie, Guppy. He was with Ireland on the way back, wasn't he?
He's a coach now with Ireland. He goes in with Martin Neal. But like he's someone, you know, that came up from non-league, went to Wickham, and every day the boys finished training at 1:30, 1 o'clock. He was gone home, and he used to go out to Keele University, and the gaffer, you see him out to crossing for 2 or 3 hours. You used to have to come in on Friday and tell them go home, get ready. So it shows their commitment, and like if you do put in the hard work, what happens, you know?
Yeah, it's all right. What we're going to do, George, we're going to put all the dates of all this summer, all the camps and stuff. We're going to put all that up on the page. I'm really, really grateful you're here today. So
no, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks, Georgie.
Thanks,
nice one.
George O'Callaghan, one of the best footballers to ever come out of Cork City. I used to watch him playing in the cross. The ball used to stick to his feet like glue. There was no way you could get it off him. It was like watching a really, really tall gazelle gliding through the grass, and you just couldn't catch up with it. Every tiger or shark would be following him, and they just couldn't catch him. He was nimble, he was quick, he had an eye for a pass, he was a character, he had flair, he had everything you could imagine in a footballer.
Remember back that far, if I can, to when he first joined the club. I can remember supporting Cork City for a long, long time, and I can remember the likes of Pat Morley in his prime, and John Caulfield and Johnny Glynn and players like that. And even then when I was a teenager, when you had Ollie Cahill and Colin O'Brien and the great partnership they had. But it's when Pat Dolan came in and John O'Flynn and George O'Callaghan, the 2 of them, and he played the 2 of them up front for that first season before Neil Fenn joined the club. And the partnership between John O'Flynn and George O'Callaghan is the best thing I think I've ever seen at Cork City. The way the 2 of them worked together, the way they played together, and George's vision was just it was unbelievable, and O'Flynn benefited from that as a young striker at the time. He was just magic on the ball, and I really only remember him playing for Cork City up front, because I moved away from Cork at around the time that they signed Neil Fenn, and George was moved back into midfield at that time, so I only really saw him play as a striker. And not overly long at Cork City for that either, because I emigrated out of the country. But what I did see of him with that season with John O'Flynn, it was amazing. You could tell the talent he had, the touch he had, the vision he had. And like I said, John O'Flynn played for the Irish under-21s that season in Turner's Cross, and he really benefited from having someone like George in the team and laying on many, many goals for him. And it was a real exciting buzz around the club at that time, because I think Dolan around then as well had signed a young winger, as it was, from St. Pat's at the time as well, that he brought down with him, Kevin Doyle, who would go from the wing to play up front obviously and have a great career as well. So it was a great time for Cork City, and I remember Georgie well, but only sadly for that one great season with O'Flynn up front.